English with Deck. Alright, how are we all doing this lovely afternoon? In fact, no, this lovely evening. Yeah, so it's been a pretty successful week, I'd say overall. A bit of this, a bit of that. Hmm, definitely a very fast week. But then I guess that happens, as you get older, time moves quicker. It's a fact of life, unavoidable and whatnot. But yeah, you know, I've been thinking a lot recently about how we talk to each other. And I'm of course meaning me to you guys. I'm also meaning me to other people, me to that person over there, that person over there. In general, how people talk to each other. And specifically the speed. Some people naturally speak very slowly, and every word is thought out and very slow, and my mouth is starting to hurt. And some people speak very, very fast, and it is very quickly, and it makes people very confused, because they can't really understand what is being said. Now, the difference between those two speech patterns is pretty extreme. And also pretty, well, ridiculous. Most people do not speak at this speed, and most people do not speak at the speed either. Most of us are somewhere in between. I think, well, it's probably obvious, but my natural speaking speed is a little faster than this. But I think quite often I would speak reasonably. I don't want to say slowly, but at a reasonable pace. I would speak more like this. And it is probably quite natural for me to speak like this. Yes, this feels about right, because today I did quite a few things. Now, did you notice there? I quickly sped up to a more natural pace for myself. Now, the reason I don't speak like that generally in my lessons, generally I don't, is because, well, you guys are learning. And that isn't fair. Now, sure, we all want to hear natural speech, natural speed, but honestly, there is a time and a place for that. And don't get me wrong, I am 100% sure you can or will be able to do it. But definitely for full understanding, I do feel it's better just to drop it down a notch. Make it so that everyone can understand. And you know what actually is really special about things like podcasts and YouTube lives, which have been recorded, and just general recordings, is the fact that quite often we can adjust the speed. Make it faster, make it slower. And for example, if any of you have gotten a bit lost in my podcast episodes, well, please slow it down a little bit. Sure, do that. Make it so that you can understand. And then, if once you've got that episode, bring it back up a notch. Turn it up a little bit with the speed. See how far you can go until you can't catch it anymore. Give yourself a little challenge there. Someone I saw on YouTube relatively recently, they were doing an explanation video. I needed to understand how to make something. That was it. Yeah, not that. I was about to say explain something, but that was a different video. No, it was when I was watching about how to make something. And the video was so detailed. This guy was amazing. But he was very slow. Slower than this. And I actually ended up having to speed up the volume. Speed up the playback. because it was just too slow. He finished what he was explaining, or I understood what he was explaining before he had finished. So I sped it up a little bit, and boom, he was at a regular talking speed, which is really interesting. you know. And his explanations were really on point. They were detailed, they were easy to understand, they were absolutely to a T perfect. However, they were quite slow. Now, that's again his style, makes it accessible. I get it, I get it. But for me, I just turned it up a little. And the speed. And I just wanted to remind you all, we are lucky to have the technology where we can listen to things on demand, at hand, at the touch of a button. So utilize that technology and utilize the playback speeds, utilize the opportunities we have. That's all. So yeah, if you get a bit lost, don't worry. You can adjust it a little bit and come back again another time. Okay. Well, as always, have a brilliant morning, a brilliant afternoon, and a brilliant evening. I kept those all the same that time. Okay. See you in the next one. Bye now.